All right, can we just stop with this Jamahal Hill hate? I mean, everybody's hating on this guy. Everyone's slandering his name, and it's time that we actually set things right. You know, I'm getting a little sick of this. Man's the UFC champion, light heavyweight champion, and we're gonna get into this real quick. If you guys aren't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button, click the like button, comment, because I'll answer the comments. I like reading the comments. I like talking to you guys about your MMA takes. You know, having a discussion. There's a Q&A on Thursday. Please leave questions for the Q&A. You know, there's like a few days left, so make sure you get them in. I already have a lot of questions, so if you guys want to get in the Q&A, this is your chance. This is your time. Comment on this video. Comment on tomorrow's video, and you'll probably make it into the Thursday Q&A. So, and let's just get into this. So before this video starts, I just want to say I do know that the MMA Guru did make a video just like this. I literally filmed it before that video came out, and I just came out and I just saw it, but I don't really want to just get rid of this because I still think I make a lot of valid points. MMA Guru does talk about in his video. I was talking about people on Twitter. So before all the comments saying I'm copying him, let's just watch the video. Jamahal Hill obviously won the UFC light heavyweight championship, and let me give you guys some context. So obviously you guys know Jiri Prochazka fought Glover Teixeira in June, and the important thing to keep note of is this fact, right, that I'm going to be spitting to you guys. Glover was 30 seconds away from winning that fight, right? And people hold Jiri to this, you know, high standard. I like Jiri. Of course, I've been loving Jiri since that, you know, knockout of Dominic Reyes, and so has a lot of people, right? He had a really good knockout of Volkan Ozdemir. So I'm not trying to shit on Jiri at all in this video, but keep that in context, right? That Glover was seconds away from beating Jiri, right? And it was a close fight, right? Obviously, and some would argue maybe it was not so close of a fight because Glover was on his way to win the fight, right? And a lot of people thought that Jiri was going to win. A lot of people thought Jiri was going to dominate, and it wound up being a pretty close fight, and a fight that, if we're talking about, except for the finish, Glover was winning, okay? And of course, you know, not taking anything away from Jiri. Jiri did submit him. Jiri did catch him, so Jiri does deserve the win, of course. So I'm not trying to discredit Jiri by saying that, of course. I don't want anyone getting twisted. Then, obviously, Jiri gets injured. Jiri vacates the belt, and Glover gets kind of kicked out of the whole title conversation. They make Jan Blachowicz, Magomed Ankalaev. The fight is a draw, as we all know, last month. Dana White said at the press conference, it said, hey, you know what, we're just going to run Glover and Jamahal for the UFC light heavyweight title. And the reason that they made this fight is really because there's no other light heavyweights, right? So Jamahal really did not deserve this title shot, if we're being honest, right? Because Jamahal Hill last beat Thiago Santos. He's not even in the UFC anymore. He's in the PFL. And so he has no win over top 10 guys, right? He has no wins over current top 10 UFC light heavyweights. So obviously, you would think he doesn't deserve it. And you would know. I mean, you would be right. He doesn't deserve it if we're talking about it. But at the end of the day, it was short notice, which is another thing you guys should keep in mind while I'm talking about this about all the Jamahal Hill hate and why you guys shouldn't be hating on him. Now, let me put this into some context, all right? Let me put it like this, okay? Jamahal Hill, in my opinion, he was the favorite, but he shouldn't have been the favorite. If I'm being honest, I thought Jamahal Hill was going to lose. I thought Jamahal Hill was going to get dominated. I thought this was going to be easy for Glover. I had no idea why he was the favorite, and I still don't think he should have been the favorite, but, you know, I was convinced. I was like, the only way he wins is if he catches Glover with something, and it's like a fluke kind of sort of thing, and maybe then I would get the hate. Maybe then I would get, hey, you don't even deserve this. Let's see you prove yourself. Going in there against a guy that basically stood toe, that was almost about to beat the last champion that vacated the title, right? And he was close to beating him, and he was on his way to beating him. He was the champion before him, beat Jan Blachowicz, which is like the number 2 or number 3 guy in the world or something like that. Glover was able to dominate him for 2 rounds and finish him. He was on his way to beating Jiri in a pretty dominant, close kind of dominant decision. I don't want to say it was so dominant where he won every round, but it was looking like maybe it would be 49-46 or 48-47. I can't remember off the top of my head how many rounds Jiri won, but I believe it was like headed to 49-46. And he goes in there against the odds, against the, you know, literally he's going up short training camp. Glover, keep in mind, Glover was training for Jiri, right? Glover did have somewhat of a training camp. He had like about 2 weeks off, but he had a training camp before that. He was already in shape. It's not like he was, you know, this fat guy coming off the couch. And you can make an argument, look, Jamahal was probably training for that March fight with Anthony Smith that was going on, but still, there was no, I mean, he's fighting 2 months earlier, you know, so that's crazy enough. In the other guy's home country, he's fighting against a guy that's like the number 1 contender. He's number 7 and dominates him from bell to bell. Wins 50-44. Like, who would have thought? I thought, okay, maybe Jamahal hits him with a shot. Maybe that's how he wins. No, he dominated him, outstruck Glover, and most impressively, Glover got like 2 takedowns out of like 13 or something like that. You know, I'm gonna look up the stat right now. Glover landed 2 takedowns of 17, like 11% takedown, whatever accuracy. That's what he got over 25 minutes. I mean, when we're talking about Glover submitted Jan, I believe he got a takedown. He did get a takedown in the first round, I know, but I don't know if he got a takedown in the second or that was a knockdown. I don't really remember. But he submitted guys. He had Jamal in top mount in the 5th round, and Jamal still was just able to get up. Both those takedowns, it's not like Glover was able to just control Jamal the whole time. No, we're talking about a dominant win coming off of a short notice training camp, because yes, this was, I know both of them had the same notice, so a lot of people don't consider this short notice, but basically, look, like I said, Glover was already training for December 10th, and basically the fight got approved or whatever. The fight was already in the works December 10th. Jamal deserves major credit because he was not coming off of a training camp, and the guy came in shape. This was the best shape. I'm gonna put on the screen a picture of his last fight and a picture of his fight now. He came in shape. That was like a 6 months difference, something, not even. It was like 5 months difference, you know. Just in 5 months he came in like that, and he was motivated, and he just showed that there are levels. He outstruck Glover, dominated Glover. I mean, there were so many times where it looked like he could finish Glover. And give the guy respect, because I see people on Twitter saying this is the worst champion, but the odds were really stacked against him. Even though he was the favorite for some reason, he had the shorter training camp, he had the shorter notice, he was fighting a guy. He never fought anybody in the current top 10 UFC light heavyweight roster except for Paul Craig, who I don't even think is in the top 10 anymore right now. Like I'm saying, put some respect on Jamahal Hill. I'm excited for his next fight. I think, look, I don't know how far he's going to go, and hey, he might even lose his next fight. He might even lose to Jan. He might lose to Magomed, because of course MMA math doesn't add up. I'm not trying to say that because Glover beat Jan or Glover was almost going to beat Jiri, that means that Jamahal Hill is going to beat them. No, honestly, anything could happen there. And I'm going to say this here and now, I wouldn't be surprised if Jamal beats Jiri, and that might get some hate in the comments, but Jiri is a guy that hits a lot. Like, he got hit by Glover a lot. He did get rocked by Glover in the 5th round, and he absorbs a lot of shots. We all know that this is going to be a striking battle. This would be interesting. I think it's going to be just like one of those things of who lands first. I think that's what it's going to come down to in that fight. He did say today on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani, he did say that he might come back July or August, so that might be the next fight for Jamal, and I wouldn't mind that. That's a pretty fun fight. They're both strikers, both interesting strikers. I think Jamahal Hill proved himself. I literally did not imagine hearing the words that Jamahal Hill would be the light heavyweight champion, and if you would have told me last week I'd be making this video, I would have thought you were fucking crazy. Me defending Jamahal Hill because he's getting disrespected, in my opinion. Now, there are some people that aren't disrespecting Jamahal Hill and understand that that was a really good win, but people are forgetting how good Glover is. Glover, though he's 43, though he just retired, he is fucking crazy. Like, he's a good guy. He defies the laws of age. He defies the laws of everything. He is a really good fighter, and I think people have to start putting some respect on the name of Jamahal Hill. And I'll say that, look, comparing the Jiri and Glover performance, they're both strikers. You didn't really see Jiri have the same performance against Glover. So I'm interested to see how that matchup goes. And, you know, I think Jamal really proved himself. I think Jamal showed that he can hang out with the top of the guys. He just beat the former champion, the guy that was just champion a year ago today. I'm excited for his next matchup. I really hope that it goes his way. I think a lot of you guys should respect Jamahal Hill. He put on quite the performance. He did very well. I think, in my opinion, Glover was kind of the champion in a lot of people's mind going into the fight, including myself. He almost beat Jiri. He was as close to a champion in the light heavyweight division as you were going to get, and that's my opinion on the whole subject. So please, like I said, respect Jamahal Hill, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think Jamahal Hill shouldn't deserve respect? Who do you want to see him fight next? Personally, I think Jiri's next. I hope Jiri's next. That would be a fun fight. I think that's going to be a fight of the night right there. Like I said, if you guys want to see my video on Colby Covington, Gilbert Burns, it's going to be on the screen right now. Please hit the subscribe button. Join if you want to join and support me, and there's plenty of tiers. You know, you guys could do that. If you guys don't, that's fine too. Let me know in the comment section below. Comment for the Q&A, and I'll see you guys in the next one.